I ran camera for CBS in Dallas for 5 years, and now I'm stepping out in front of it with you. And jambalaya starts right now. We were able to see this rapidly intensify. So right now we're seeing that Category 3. We've got those winds at 120 miles an hour moving to the north at 15. So make sure you're staying safe, make sure you're staying weather aware. Looking at the timing, we're seeing things that are pretty calm in the early morning hours, but as we get into the afternoon and into the evening, we've got a lot of activity. Keep in mind that any of these storms could be turning severe. You can see just how much our tower camera is continuing to shake in the midst of some very strong winds, some 85-mile-an-hour gusts, which 90 miles an hour is enough to move a car. You can see the damage to this roof right in this area. So some of those tin roofs just ripped right off. Storms, this line moving on through. It's also known as a bow echo, and those are associated with some very strong winds.
And it's not just limbs like these. Entire trees snapped in half, pulled by their roots, crushing cars. But spirits in Colfax are not crushed. In fact, the sense of community is much stronger than 150-mile-an-hour winds.
So we can see this coming on in right here, quite a bit of energy. You can see that pink, lots of hail. You see that commonly with tornadoes reaching on over towards Leesville, and around 9 o'clock. That's when we had that fatality around Woodsworth. Things that's different with something that does have an eye. The center of that eye, the center of low pressure, sucks up all of that fuel like a vacuum from all those warm waters, and will typically weaken quite a bit as it goes inland. This one's going to weaken, but not quite as much, because you can see just how broad this is. So even as it's making its way inland, it's still going to be able to tap in to all of this moisture, and a big concern is flooding. And you guys were talking about how now it's a Category 2. We are seeing exactly that. Those winds at 110 miles an hour started off as 150, and almost hour by hour going down by about 10 miles. So it is weakening, but there is nothing weak about this. I mean, check it out. It has engulfed the entire state of Louisiana. And hello, Adaleigh Rowe here. We had that severe weather yesterday. Hasn't been confirmed by the National Weather Service just yet, but it is possible, and I think pretty probable, that we had just one system that caused about 63 miles of damage from DeRidder into the Alexandria Pineville area. We've been sharing these pictures with you throughout the day, and yesterday as well, one of those places hit very hard was Johnny Downs Sports Complex. Well, exactly how does a tornado touch down? The United States sees more of them than anywhere else in the world, and I'm going to explain how they work. So one of the things you have is surface winds going one way, stronger upper level winds going in a different direction, and that creates what we call shear. And then you get that rotation due to that shear, and eventually, all thanks to that instability, another one of those things we talk about, creates that updraft. You have that lift, and with 70-degree temperatures in December, with that dew point at 70 as well, you have the instability, we had the shear, you get that rotating air that tilts, and eventually that wall cloud does start to form for us out of that supercell. That rotating air continues to build downwards. If it doesn't reach the ground, then it's a funnel cloud. But if it does touch down, it's a tornado, and that's exactly what we did see yesterday. Bit of a hook shape, which that's something that you typically will see whenever there is those radar confirmed tornadoes. We're seeing a pretty good shaped one right now. So definitely stay safe. This is really, like Tyler was mentioning, close to that Somerville area, and it's going to continue to move to the northeast at about 30 miles an hour. One of the other tools that helps us see this is that velocity, which I'm going to go ahead and pull up for you. And velocity just shows you those two winds going in two different directions. So we're seeing that red is outbound and that green inbound winds, pretty much right where I was just zooming in, 127. We're seeing that right around that Somerville area. And thanks for joining us, Adaleigh Rowe. It is hurricane season after all, and we're going to enter the peak of it pretty soon, because these next few months will get hotter and hotter, and so will those waters. More energy for those systems to develop. That peak is around September 11th, so the middle of September is when we typically see that climatologically. It's already been a very busy start for us. We are still keeping an eye on Invest 98L. You can see that right there, just to the south of Atlanta, Georgia. It's going to continue to push push on over away from us here in Sinlaw. Winds at about 25 miles an hour. That movement to the northeast at 7. And in the next 2 to 5 days, that tropical development is anywhere from 20 to 40%. It just kind of depends where this eye ends up. If it's a little bit more in those warm waters, well, that development becomes a little bit more probable. And there's another flare of energy. You can see that right here, mostly into Texas, but it's continuing to filter on through this way. More showers and storms. It's been a very soggy day for us. And once again, you can see that rotation associated with Invest 98L. But let's investigate our area a little bit closer. We're seeing showers and storms mostly in that southern half of Sinlaw. We're seeing lots of lightning pushing towards you guys in Leesville, down near DeRidder as well. And as we zoom on out, you can see just how much energy there is. Even that line right there, big cluster just to the east of Waco, and it's continuing to push this way. Energy from the south pushing to the northeast as well. So maybe getting a little bit of a lull in some spots, but if you're heading out, I'd still get that umbrella. Even some peaks of blue sky here and there. 77 degrees. This is over downtown Alexandria. Temperatures anywhere from the upper 70s and into the lower 80s. So not too hot compared to what we're used to, but making it feel a little bit warmer out there as these warm winds that are continuing to come on in from the south at about 5 to 10. Visibility not too bad, but make sure you are driving safely, especially around some of those showers and storms, heavy downpours, and very high humidity, anywhere from oppressive to very humid conditions. It's been here, and humidity is going to continue to stick around for us, but won't be sticking around all week as those rain chances today is about that 80% chance. Most of us seeing about 1/4 of an inch to 2, but some of us could be seeing 2 to 5 inches on top of what we saw just yesterday, and that's all thanks to the stationary front. It's continuing to hang out for us, so more showers and storms will be pushing on through this evening. After the sun goes down, things are kind of calming down for the most part. Not as probable that you'll run into any wet weather, but as you can see, Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, and even in the evening, we're still seeing that chance for showers and storms. But as we move into Thursday, you'll notice that cloud cover moving on out of here, more sunshine, but that's accompanied by warmer temperatures. And the good news about these storms these next couple of days is that we've got that level 0 risk for anything severe. So we're not expecting anything severe, but as always, it's important to stay weather aware because things in Sinlaw can change pretty quickly. And we have some changes this week, no surprise there. So as that high pressure moves on in, temperatures are going to get higher and higher, pretty close to the triple digits. So nice pool weather. Trying to look on the bright side. Get ready to crank that AC. Stay dry for now and stay cool later on.
So if you saw the whole show, then you saw camera one operator Adaleigh tried mightily to get the back of her head on camera, but now let's put the front of her face.
Yes,
Hi,
looking
Adaleigh.
good.
She made such an effort to get on camera earlier.
Right?
Just
That's
the back.
CBS 11 News at 6. We'll see you at 10.
See you tonight.